This is an extract from my short story Wade Through the Dark. A very short extract. Here you are. When he woke up in the dusk, the southeaster was still blowing. Roar. It seemed to become even stronger. Fair wind, he thought, strong and steady enough to spread wings. So tomorrow we'll be far away from here and maybe from sad memories. It was 5:45 when he untied his inflatable boat and rowed to the shore. He rowed slowly, aiming at two yellow lights that, as he knew, were settled at Betha's veranda, and long seas rolling from far by lifted his boat up and down, slowly and majestically. Duck waited for him already and helped him to drag the boat up the beach, not to be swept away by the tide. Having this done, they shook hands, looked at each other. Both were wearing silk ties, coats but no trousers, and laughed. "We do look nice, don't we?" Doc growled. "We do." Bob took a plastic bag containing his jeans and shoes from the boat, and they came to the bench where Duck's trousers and shoes were awaiting for him, and put the dress on. "Suppose nobody will take us for old gays," Bob said, smiling. "I don't care what anyone thinks," Doc said loudly, fastening his belt and looking around in a Reno style. "Why didn't you land to the jetty, Bob?" "It's easy. I'm not going to consume only soft drinks tonight. At the same time, I've no wish to flop past my boat while climbing down the jetty on my way back, you see?" "Flop down past your boat?" Dick covered his eyes with his hand. "What?" Bob arched his eyebrow. "Oh, that's okay. Just imagine you missing your boat and swimming around it like a seal with your tie on," Duck answered, trying in vain to suppress his rumbling laughter. They entered the restaurant's veranda, and Bob saw Rebecca, Duck's wife, Nellie, and the same young couple at one of the tables, waving their hands to him. When they approached, Rebecca stood up and hugged him. "Hi, Bob. It's great you've joined us." "Hi, Becky. What friends are for?" He winked and hugged her too. Then he shook hands with Nellie, her university co-ed Kayla, and Dick Williams, Kayla's husband. Kayla and Dick turned to be Aussies. They were on their wedding trip there. Bob ordered Benedict eggs and a glass of his beloved Fleur du Cap Light. "You mean eggs Benedict, sir?" a young waiter spelled out. "Of course. I didn't mean I wanted eggs of some poor Benedict," Bob said seriously. "God forbid." "So eggs Benedict and Fleur du Cap Light." The obliging waiter nodded, a shadow of grin on his face. While enjoying light, dry, a bit mineralic wine, his dinner, and a friendly chat, Bob thought sadly that days passed really fast, and his friends showed signs of being succumbed to the flow of inexorable river of time. Duck lost most of his hair, and deep crow's feet appeared around outer corners of Becky's hazel eyes. Nellie, on the contrary, developed into a gorgeous young woman since he had seen her last. She took after her father, and in the course of time this similarity was more and more obvious. She was almost as tall as Dick, and her red shoulder-length hair was thick and wavy as Duck's one had been. Only one look at her big turned-up nose and plump lips, and you had no doubts that she and Dirk were her kin. But the eyes were Becky's, big and shiny. Now she looked straight at him. Not only she, all the company looked at him as if waiting for something. "What?" he asked, emerging from his thoughts. "Have I missed something?" Rebecca smiled and shook her head. "Dirk asked you about the plans," she said. "Are you going to sail around the Cape and back to England, or have you set your course eastward?" "Back to England," he said. "I miss my work. Besides, I don't like taking, you know." "And your design is itching air?" Dick chuckled. "Sort of," Bob said and smiled. "A high-tech racing machine or a cruising boat," Dick specified. "It'll be a seaworthy cruising cat of a new generation, I suppose." "And what's the zest of it, I wonder?" Dick inquired, sipping his wine. "The zest?" Bob shook his head. "It's not polite to answer that question, I know. Nevertheless, please tell me, how old were you when you could afford a yacht safe enough to go on a cruise?" Dick scratched the back of his head and looked at Rebecca. "Do you happen to remember, dear?" "Certainly I do. You were exactly 42, Dirk, when we bought Malaya in Panko Marina after our contract in Kuala Lumpur was over. We traveled for almost a month. We traveled for almost a month among the isles along the coast, then via Goa, Ceylon, and Port Louis, Mauritius. We sailed back home," answered Rebecca, leaning against Dick's shoulder. "You've got the answer," Dick smiled. "So, the zest of this design is it's for young people. They shouldn't wait long to make their dreams true," Bob winked to Kayla. "Now that is the end. Up to now. The rest will be written maybe in a month, maybe in half a year. I don't know. Thanks for listening."